Do you have questions about the Lighthouse? Me too. In this video, we're going to explore 3 of them. Hello, and welcome to the Eldridge collection. My name is Aaron Peterson, and I will be your curator. Today, we're talking about The Lighthouse, a 2019 movie directed by Robert Eggers, starring William Dafoe and Robert Pattinson. The film was written by Max and Robert Eggers. The cinematography was by Jaron Blaschke. I'm not sure if I pronounced that correctly, but he was a cinematographer for Robert Eggers' first film, or first major film, The Witch. I'm still not sure how I feel about this movie. It's true, it is very hallucinatory and art house and ambiguous and strange, but not in the way that this channel normally appreciates the strange. It was very much so impressionistic in a way that's hard to really nail down. It's vague and surreal also. It's just a hard movie to describe, but here's the general plot. In the 1890s, 2 lighthouse keepers are basically stuck on a remote island during a storm. Throughout their time there's a strange relationship between the 2. Sometimes it's like father and son, sometimes it's like 2 drinking buddies, sometimes it's like God and man, and there are strange occurrences that happen throughout the island involving mermaids, tentacles, seagulls, storms, hallucinations, and past terrors. Almost impossible to tell for sure what's real in this movie and what's all in their imagination, what they're hallucinating, and what otherworldly or supernatural beings they're truly encountering. This film is intentionally vague and has left me with many questions, and I want to explore 3 of them with you today. The first question is one that has to do with language and how we communicate with one another. This film, like The Witch, deals a lot with how people talk, especially people from history. You can tell that the director and the writer pay particular attention to the way that people communicate, and they write the dialogue in a way that makes it feel authentic. I don't think it's possible to ever fully know how 2 lighthouse keepers would actually sound in the 1890s, but this feels possible. It feels plausible, at least. And that gives this whole film a feeling of actually going back in time more than the black and white cinematography and the old buildings and the period correct, technology. It also makes it harder to understand, just in general. And the question I have is how much does language and dialogue play with the ideas of the strange and the Eldridge? There's this haunting feeling about how hard it would be to communicate with someone who even, technically spoke English from 100 years ago, 200 years ago, 1,000 years ago. It's basically a different dialect and definitely and possibly even a different language. And that feeling of time stretching out and language and understanding almost dissolving, it is a haunting feeling, is a cosmic horror feeling. And I'm interested that this director, pays so much attention to that concept, and I'm just wondering, how much that affects our own appreciation from the works of, say, H.P. Lovecraft or Edgar Allan Poe. I don't know. Language is something I definitely thought about a lot after seeing this film. The second question I had is one that is much bigger than the scope of any YouTube video or probably any one YouTube channel. And that is the fine line between the divine and the cosmic. In this film, in particular, you could, really analyze how the ocean is cosmic and its terrors are natural and truly terrifying. While on the other hand, the idea of sirens and Poseidon are divine. They're supernatural. And while they may be harder to fully engage with, they ask similar questions to cosmic questions. And it's interesting to see the line being woven between the 2 so delicately in this film in particular. It makes me think about how the idea of eternity is a question that is open to both science and religion. And the idea that you can be afraid of just that time scale alone, whether or not it's in paradise, in hell, or on the rock in the middle of the ocean. Again, it's very clear that I can't even scratch the surface of a concept like that, but it's something that I really appreciate about cosmic horror in general, that it does have the bandwidth to play in that playground, to ask those questions, and to make you stop and think about, Nietzsche and the Bible, and Poseidon, and just how overwhelming the sunset over the ocean could be. The last question I have is, how do you know if ambiguity is pretentious or brilliant? The top spinning at the end of Inception, the last episode of The Sopranos, and the general plot and reality or non-reality of The Lighthouse are all very ambiguous. They're all very vague, and they're all divisive in their own way. And it's a storytelling device that I've often struggled with. I know that the creators of The Sopranos were all very, skilled TV producers. I know that Christopher Nolan is a great writer and director, and I really appreciate what the creators of The Lighthouse are doing, but it still feels cheap. It still feels hard to swallow when things are left so open-ended that you almost wonder why you watched the film in the first place. I know that if you want to push the boundaries of art and storytelling, you have to take risks. And those risks, come with the chance that you're going to come off as stupid or silly or pretentious. Where on the other hand, you may come up with something truly original and truly novel. And ambiguity is one way to push it without taking all of the risks. And that might be one of the reasons why I find it so frustrating, is that, just commit, just tell me. Is Cthulhu real, or is it just a dream? Is the top spinning, or does it fall down? Why are you afraid of the answer to your story? And the common response to that is that, well, then you're missing the point of the story. And it's like, I don't know. I don't know if I buy that. And that's something that I don't really have the answer for, because I could probably watch all of those over and over and over again and come out with something new every time I watch it. And maybe that is what makes them brilliant, but also maybe it just makes them pretentious playgrounds. And I don't know. What do you guys think about ambiguity and pretension? What do you guys think about the cosmic versus the divine? And what do you think about the idea of language being something that is a way of judging time and a way of feeling alien when in reality it's not that far away? And there are many other questions I have after watching The Lighthouse. What does style have to do with horror? Does something have to be unnerving, or does it have to be scary? Does it have to be frightening, or can it just be strange to be an effective horror film? There are so many questions I have about this film, and there are so many things that I almost feel about it, but at the end of the day, it's like a fog. It's something you can see shapes in, but then they're gone. It's something that twists the light and makes you wonder about infinity. It's a strange, curious, hypnotic, hallucinatory film, and I'm probably going to watch it several more times before I even begin to understand how I feel about it. Much less understand the questions it's asking. I'd love to hear what you guys have to think about any of these questions, or what you thought about the film at all. Please comment below, let me know. I would definitely appreciate that. And I will definitely be in the comments trying to reply to as many as I can. If you guys like this channel, if you like the exploration of the strange and the Eldridge, please like this video, subscribe, share, all the good YouTube things. I would definitely appreciate that. Thank you, and I'll see you next time.